G'day folks, welcome to a fairly rainy Friday morning-ish, or midday, whatever time it is. I've been fairly busy this morning, running around doing a few little jobs, and finally got a tip trip done, so that's all good. Yeah, I was hoping the weather would be a bit better today, but it's not. As you can see, everything's wet. I've got a big air conditioner there that my local barbershop man dropped off. That's the guy who gave me the little Amstrad mini PC. He came around last night and dropped that off because it was too big to fit in his shop window. It's actually big enough. I think it's got a scroll compressor in it. It's a 6.1 kilowatt Kelvinator window shaker. I'm guessing probably one of the LG rebrands that they did maybe 15, 20, 10, yeah, about 10 years ago or so, 10 to 15 years ago. Likewise, there's a submergible motor, tubular motor sitting there, standing on its end. That's full of water, so I've got to rip that open and see what happened inside. And also this unusual looking package showed up today. I know what it is. This will be, I suppose, a bit of an update for what might happen with my turbine jet engine if it successfully works. I mean, I'm not going to send the turbo off and pay large amounts of money to have it checked out properly. I'm just going to wing it and see what happens. But this is a rather interesting bit of kit that not everybody can really get their hands on, so let's open it up and have a look. And there we are, that's what we got. You might be wondering what that is, and that's a combustor from a Rolls-Royce Viper jet engine. There are a number of these arranged around the outside of the jet engine, feeding high pressure, high temperature gas into the exhaust turbine. That's what this little outlet is. I'm not sure what that does, but I'm thinking if I'm going to adapt it to something, I literally have to cut that off there and attach it accordingly, unless I can remove this entire bottom piece. It does look like it's maybe roll crimped on there. I'll have to have a go at it. I'll ask Leo for instructions on this one. This was donated by Leo Kim Video, rather popular channel on YouTube. I'll post a link to his original jet engine video that I originally got the idea of using a turbo from. I saw it years and years ago, quite a few years ago. It was one of the videos that actually got me into YouTube. And he said there's a fuel sprayer in there, and we'll give this a full strip down and clean and inspection when I get time. Shouldn't be too hard, I hope. I noticed before there was some very light engraving markings on there from a service repair technician or something. So cleaned up, we should be able to read them. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Hope none of my subscribers are affected by that big fertilizer plant explosion in Texas. That was pretty nasty. I know there's a lot of dead involved in that one. Hopefully it's just an accident, and by the sounds of it they were making ammonium nitrate, because they had bulk tanks of anhydrous ammonia, which is basically ammonia gas, no water content on site. And one thing I know about burning nitrates, and in the case of the Pepcon explosion, which seems to be very similar, they can go from just simply burning with fuel to detonating on their own. You don't need any kind of explosive initiator like a blasting cap or anything. Just a combination of extreme heat, probably a lot of polyethylene from storage barrels, the blue plastic barrels, or some similar thing, maybe chemicals from other plant machinery and stuff burning around it, and combine that with extreme heat and things like NH4NO3 and NH4ClO4, which is potassium perchlorate used in the solid rocket boosters of the space shuttle. Yeah, they can go high order pretty quick, and that's exactly what happened at Pepcon. The plastic drums and the aluminum storage crates, which are basically like a pallet-sized aluminium box, melted and became the fuel, because in the presence of 4 atoms of oxygen per molecule of potassium perchlorate, that will turn molten aluminum, steel or plastic or anything like that into a vigorous burning fuel. And that's exactly what seems to have happened in Texas as well. The fire got out of control, reached storage containers and things like that, and yeah, it went from a subsonic deflagration through its transition to detonation, which is supersonic. And once that happens, drums nearby don't even have to be burning to detonate. The shockwave moves so fast and breaks those molecules so quickly that the whole lot just goes off in sympathy. It's kind of scary when that sort of thing happens. That's when you just got to evacuate the whole area. And it's clear a lot of area was evacuated, a lot of lives were saved, but there were still a lot of people near the site, and they didn't survive. So industrial accidents are nothing to take lightly. Sometimes it seems even industrial accidents might even claim more lives than some terrorist attacks, and that's often the case. I think Bhopal was one of the worst industrial accidents that I know of, and all that involved was a chemical leak from shoddy manufacturing equipment, shoddy pipe work, and well, a lot of people died. A lot of people died. I don't know the exact figures, but I think it was over 1,000. So yeah, it's one of my pet peeves, is industrial improper storage of hazardous materials in industry and that sort of thing. Because it's one thing to have a little hobby shop like this, and I've had a few little spills and things like that. I haven't had any fires or other issues simply due to fairly rigorous safety around electrical equipment and keeping proper fire extinguishers handy and all that sort of stuff. But when it comes to bulk, large scale stuff, you've got to be very careful, especially when you're nearby residential areas. It's one thing being out in the middle of nowhere like Pepcon was, but having an ammonia nitrate plant or whatever it was in the middle of a fairly built up area, that's kind of asking for trouble. So anyway, enough rambling and ranting about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Another big thanks for Leo from Leo Kim Video for donating this. I'll see how well I can employ it as a combustor for the jet engine. I'll definitely have to do a dry test run using a blower though. I'll see if I can find an electric leaf blower or something and do a proper dry test on the bench. Because this thing should work just fine as a combustor, as long as I can force air in through the top, fuel, an ignition source. I should get flame, lots of flames. Well, actually you don't want too much flame coming out the end, actually. That's part of the issue with melting turbine blades, but I should get proper combustion and no real issues. So anyway, enough rambling. I've got better things to do today. It's only almost about midday, so let's get going. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.